Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And real quick before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. And if you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, loyalty crown badges, want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember, that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now, truly the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting. Everything really does help, so thank you guys so much. And for today's video, I apologize if I sound a little bit different, maybe a little nasally. I'm unfortunately getting sick. I'm getting a sore throat right now. My nose is getting stuffy. Trying my best to not sound too bad for recording. Hopefully I don't lose my voice like before, because obviously I can't make videos. But for now, I did want to make a video in regards to Nayuta. After doing a lot of testing different ways to approach her and building her, really excited to talk about her because I think she's fantastic. So let's get started. And first things first, as always with these kind of videos, I like to talk about the income and timing. And honestly, right now is kind of interesting because I think she is going to be a must pull for people who really care about her. And she looks great too. But obviously, this is a 1% banner. And for most people, if you have the pity, you're just going to use the pity. If you got lucky and you luck acted, good for you. But also you're at the mercy of RNG, so you never know how that 4%, 1% is going to go. I do recommend that everybody at least gets one copy of her because I do believe she's fantastic. I think she is a top 2 with Crown, but they're going to have different usages, which I will talk about in a little bit. But I think overall, everybody needs to grab her because she is fantastic. Obviously going to be another great power creeping unit for a B2. So alongside Crown, if you don't have her, she's going to be your next best bet, and she's fantastic. And honestly, right now, despite waiting for Liberalia, the other banner that you can really pull from realistically is going to be the Select Recruitment, which is Red Hood, Doro, and Modernia. And realistically, out of everybody here, you're going to be pulling for Red Hood. But even then, you might as well just pull Nayuta, because meta-wise, they're not even coming close. But still, at the end of the day, just pull for what you want. But still, the fact that she not only plays good, but looks good is fantastic. And I want to talk about her looks, alright? She looks great. And obviously, I gave her a lot of TLC. Gave her OL 5, ML beat her, bomb level 40, SR level 15 doll, so she got the works, alright? But she looks fantastic, alright? Base design alone, mole, side booba, looking good. Great looking camel, but the 2D kind of changes a little bit, so you get a different design. And it looks cool. Like, genuinely, I think it's a really awesome thing that it changes. The staff changes, and then when she does it, it goes back, and then boom. Camel looks great. So, awesome stuff. Cannot wait to see how they actually interact with Crown, because, like a lot of people mentioned, that I completely forgot about, because this was so long ago, alright? I got fish brain, but she did make it, so cannot wait to see how that goes with them. And I hope a lot of people are enjoying the story, because I'm having a lot of fun with it. But outside of the looks, you know, we got the shooting pose, which, insane booba, by the way, like, great cover pose. And then we got the shooting pose, and still a W. Still a W. Great side booba, great assets, as always, looking good. Great stacked chibi, as always, the important mole is still there. So, great stuff overall, but let's be real, let's start talking about her, because she is insane. Now, with overload gear, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, because she's going to be a typical character, but different than support, because she does a lot of DPS. So she is going to want elemental and attack, and honestly anything else is like whatever. Max ammo is really not important at all, because the way when she bursts, she swaps to a different weapon. So the max ammo doesn't matter at all, because it kind of resets for that weapon. So realistically, just attack elemental is definitely going to be your best friend. And like I said, I went OL level 5, and for me, I actually got decent lines. I got like an attack, you know, random max ammo and crit, more elemental and attack with crit. I got elemental and max ammo, attack, charge damage, and elemental damage. Honestly, charge damage is like kind of like whatever to have, but it's a blue line and I wanted to keep it, and I don't really feel like I'm going to change the lines because it's 3 lines, so I'll just take the stat bonus and just go with it. And when it comes to pulling copies of her, this is a different story. So in general, if you don't care about meta, you don't care about pushing or any, you know, super competitive with anything like that, one copy for any character is more than enough. You never need to get more than one copy But is she worth the more copies? Yes. I feel like you get a lot more DPS out of her because she actually does DPS. So the more copies you get, she will actually pull more DPS, even though she is a support. And I gave her an SR level 15 doll. You don't have to do that, but I definitely think like if you really want to invest in her, go all in on the doll. Make sure you use the blue and then the purple. And then let's talk about skills. Because with skills, unfortunately, I feel like the bare minimum with her, because everything helps with her kit. I think the bare minimum is 777. And then if you can, go 10 10 10. That's what I have, and I'm going to keep because it was worth it. It is unfortunate that it is another expensive character, but honestly, it was kind of what you expected. But hey, at least we got some skill resets, so hopefully you can manage your way to get this at 10 10 10. Interested to see how Liberalia will work. Maybe it's going to be another 10 10 10. We will see. This time I got the mats though because I reset my characters. But then I wanted to talk about the cube, because the cube is interesting because technically, because of her burst and the weapon that she gets, you'd want to use the Onslaught cube for that charge damage, which I guess that line works out for me as well because of that. But I don't really have it that high of a level, and realistically, she's an SMG, resilience is pointless, and Bastion doesn't matter because of the max ammo thing, because the weapon changes. However, what you're going to want to do is just slot in whatever's your highest level cube, because the raw stats that you get from having your highest level cube is more than beneficial for her. So if you can just knock off a spot for resilience or bastion, whatever your highest level is, just give it to Nayuta. That's going to be your best bet. So that's why I'm using resilience, even though it doesn't matter. I'm using the raw stats just to clarify that. But with all that yapping out the way, I do want to talk about testing, and I actually did testing in a good lot of places. I did an off-element shooting range test, did an element test in shooting range, did it against Kraken. Want to talk about that a little bit, and also tested in the hard mode Union raid that we just had. So let's talk about that. So to start off these testing results, this one specifically was actually against the Union raid hard mode of the Red Shoes Rapture. And with that, obviously Wind weak. So the team I used was Nayuta, Scarlet Black Shadow, Little Mermaid, Asuka, and Helm. What a great team, by the way, because I almost got 11 billion. I think it was at 10.5 billion, but fantastic. Nayuta doing 3.2 billion alongside my Scarlet Black Shadow, who's almost at 3.25 billion. So getting really close there with damage, and insane because my Scarlet Black Shadow is a bit more invested as well. I do wish her lines were a bit better. And honestly, I wonder how it is now because I improved my Nayuta after this raid. So interested to see how that would look. Little Mermaid also doing stupid damage at 2 billion, obviously insane B1. Asuka doing almost 2.5 billion as well. But interesting to see that she is holding up so well. But I know that my Asuka is not at 10 10 10. I think she's at 777. And then my Helm is just kind of there just to help on the sidelines. But really promising stuff here, especially for like actual raid content. Don't know what the team is going to look like for the raids, but this is going to be an insane like team 1 or team 2 using Nayuta. So I can't wait to see how that looks. Now this is a bit different. So this was my Kraken, and I want to talk about this because I actually completed Kraken in 2 minutes and 42 seconds, and I did not die. I didn't lose anybody, yet I was bursting with Nayuta and having Crown help. And I know this looks weird. This is a weird looking team, but trust me, because here's the thing. I've seen a lot of people use this team for Kraken, and although it doesn't seem efficient, it's actually helping because you're getting some boosts from Crown, but Nayuta is dealing so much damage that it helps. And if you need to deal with the Kraken on either node 7 or node 8, and you need that shield help, then you can use Crown last second to help with you, and you can complete it. Seen a lot of people do great with this team. So although you're not really having like the best burst gen or anything like that, you're getting great value out of Nayuta's damage and getting a little bit of help from Crown. And if you need to, you can try to burst with her as well. But confirmed that this is my Kraken team going forward, and now because of the new quality of life, don't need to worry about anything. So although it looks weird, it helped clear a lot for a lot of people. Now this next one I believe was just straight up just the Union shooting range in Wind. And obviously Scarlet Black Shadow just doing so good. Almost 4.3 billion. Now my Nayuta is falling behind my Asuka, which still though, for a B2, who's supposedly a support, doing 3.1 billion. Same thing with Little Mermaid doing 2.2 is just ridiculous. So fantastic stuff there. But now it gets a little bit interesting because this is an off element test that I did. I wanted to use Crown, and this is on fire, so that's why I'm using Rappy Red Hood. I'm also using Mihara just for this, just to see a comparison here. Because we have Crown here almost doing 1 billion and 900 million. Little Mermaid getting close to 2 billion. Rappy Red Hood at 6 billion, and then Mihara at 5 billion. Those are the ones that I want to pay attention to. But let's say that we're using Nayuta instead of Crown. What happens? Well, the biggest change is that Nayuta does a lot more damage, getting close to that 2 billion. But you can see that Little Mermaid dropped, Rappy Red Hood dropped, and Mihara dropped a lot. And in my test, there was a bit of a difference. I think almost a 600 million difference in damage because the gain from Crown was lost for the rest of the team. So even though Nayuta did a lot more than Crown, there was a lot more benefit for having Crown to help the others in terms of numbers. Because now Rappy Red Hood is sub 6 billion, Little Mermaid's not even close to 2 billion, and Mihara's not even close to 5 billion anymore. So that's why I think she's a top 2. I don't think she takes over Crown by any means, but I think it's the idea of where you use them that it's going to be important, whether you need shields or you need that buffing. I think that's what it really comes down to. But overall, she is a fantastic unit that I think does a great job for what she's doing. And honestly, for an Annie unit, I don't see any complaints. So good shit overall. We're going to have to see how Liberalia goes, but that is going to be it from me. So I hope you guys have a lovely day, lovely night wherever you're from. And as always, thank you so much for the constant support. Take care and have a good one.